Of course, we're getting ready for a very busy weekend. We've got some winter weather we're expecting here. And of course, when that happens, a lot of people around these parts of Texas start thinking about power outages. So we're going to go straight to the source to give you all the information you need heading into a weekend of cold weather. We're pleased to have with us now Matt Mitchell with Austin Energy. Matt, of course, is the spokesperson for Austin Energy, the biggest energy provider here in Central Texas. Matt, it's a pleasure to have you. Thanks for getting up early with us here on Daybreak Plus this morning.
Great to see you this morning, my friend.
All right, let's start with this, Matt, if you don't mind. I haven't prepped you or anything for this. I just want to know if you have an idea. We've got some live pictures out in Maine, or we've been reporting this morning about these power pole fires. And for me, I had never heard of that before. It's caused some outages with Blue Bonnet Electric, not with Austin Energy, so I want to make sure that's clear to everybody. Do you have any idea what is happening with these fires?
Absolutely. Pole fires are one of the more common reasons for power outages. And what happens is when we have a dry spell like we've been having for the last several weeks, and certainly over the last couple of years with the extended drought, you'll see that dust and accumulated grime will kind of collect and accumulate on top of wooden power poles and someplace at the very top of them. And when we then have some moisture come in, some fog, some very light rain, that produces a conductive path for the electricity to ignite that grime at the top of the power pole. Again, it's not widely publicized. It's not something that people think about, but it's actually one of the more common reasons for power outages.
Fascinating. I knew you'd have the answer, Matt. I just knew it. All right, let's talk about Austin Energy. We all saw what happened with the statewide freeze in 2021. That really didn't have anything to do specifically with Austin Energy. That was a statewide ERCOT issue. In 2023, Matt, we saw power lines being affected by vegetation, trees, limbs falling on power lines. Okay, now we're going into another freeze here in Central Texas. Just explain to the people what's been done, what is being done by Austin Energy to kind of prepare for this weekend.
Absolutely. We've learned a lot of lessons from both 2021, which, as you mentioned, was a statewide generation issue, and 2023, which was a localized ice storm that really wreaked havoc on our above ground power lines because of those urban tree canopies that sometimes are above them. So what we've been doing certainly since December in the short term, we've made sure that we do our usual weatherization practices. We want to make sure that any weather-sensitive equipment at our substations and our power plants is fully insulated. We're making sure that we have all of our absolutely essential products and things that we take out into the field at all of our service centers so that they're ready to deploy. And we've been reviewing our staffing models to make sure that we have 24-hour coverage to deploy when there are power outages. Again, we're still waiting to see exactly how this storm is going to come through, what kind of ice accumulation we're going to see, but certainly the lessons learned from years past in terms of communication and the needing to prioritize those circuits that are most at risk from environmental damage during a winter storm are the first on our docket to make sure that our vegetation management is taken care of there.
All right, Matt, the first thing I want to do when my power goes out is contact my provider to let them know my power is out. What should a customer do with Austin Energy if their power goes out this weekend at some point? What is the protocol? What should they do?
First off, don't panic and make sure that you're implementing a plan that you've already made ahead of time. We at the utility are making plans for any contingency this weekend. And yes, the forecast is trending better now than it was earlier in the week in terms of weather impacts, but we're preparing as though this is 2023. Okay, so we're making sure that we're doing everything that we can. We're encouraging our community likewise to make a plan in case there is a power outage. Don't panic. We most likely already know about it because of our smart grid. At the same time, there's a trio of ways that you can report it. You can call us. You can report it at the website or on the outage map at austinenergy.com/outage. And then you can also text us. Likely, we're already going to be texting you about it. But if for some reason we don't have your updated contact information in our City of Austin utilities, you want to make sure you think about doing that right now. We need to make sure we have your cell phone number so that we can not only text you about the outage, but also make sure that you're updated as far as an estimated time of restoration. Again, we're expecting our full deployment, all hands on deck situation at the utility, both in terms of our field staff, our support staff, and our troubleshooters. We want to make sure our community is prepared as well for whatever may come over the next 3 days.
There was a lot of information there. Let me ask you, what is you said smart grid? Is that what you called that? And can you explain how that works?
Right. So our Energy Control Center is aware of our entire grid 24/7. So if there is an outage, typically that will ping the Energy Control Center so that we're aware of it. that doesn't mean that we don't need to hear from you. There's a lot of different ways to report an outage just to make sure that we have that on our slate. Now, again, we likely already will, but for peace of mind, it always feels good to say, hey, Austin Energy, my power's out. I want to make sure you know about it. Again, a trio of ways to do that. You can do that at our website. You can do that via text. You can do that via calling the utility as well.
Matt Mitchell with Austin Energy. Matt, I got a couple more things. Thanks a lot. I know you've got a busy weekend ahead of you. We appreciate your time. It's valuable. Let's talk about, you mentioned how to make sure your information is up to date. Is that done through the website, through an app? What if somebody's hearing us now that doesn't have that taken care of? What can they do?
Absolutely. Yeah, on the website is the easiest thing to do. City of Austin Utilities is the way to go. Just do a quick pop over there to the website. Make sure that when you log into your account that all of that information is up to date as far as a current phone number. Again, most likely it is. Certainly if you're already receiving text from Austin Energy, you probably already have it all taken care of. But that's the number one thing. We want to make sure that we're able to communicate with our community and give them the most up-to-date information. But there's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can also call Austin 311 if you need to, and they can assist you in updating that information.
All right. Again, we're showing you now live pictures, Matt. I don't know if you can see it, but we've got a fire in Manor on one of those power poles there. This doesn't have anything to do with Austin Energy. We're just showing you a live picture of some of the power outages, what's caused them with Bluebonnet Electric. Matt, just real quick, how many customers is Austin Energy taking care of now?
We're right up around 570,000 residential and commercial customers across 435 square miles. So we've got a lot of territory to cover. And again, as you imagine the differences, and you can see the differences in the topography of Central Texas. There's everything from, Williamson County all the way down to our southeastern counties. It's a lot of territory and a lot of differences in terrain. So where that accumulation comes this weekend will be a real telling sign as to where our crews will be deployed in the event of outages.
Any idea how many crews you're going to have on standby this weekend, Matt? I know that's
all of them.
All of them, he says. Okay. Well, that's what everybody.
Hundreds of field staff, Brian, are going to be out and deployed, ready to deploy and on standby. Again, everybody is out here doing what we can to prepare. And we've been doing it all week. We've been doing it for several weeks since early December. So we're ready and we're prepared, and we want our community to be as well. And
I think people, and I'm not a spokesperson for Austin Energy, you are, but I have to say this. I know that people get really frustrated when their power is out, and the last thing these people that are putting power back on want to do is be out in these elements putting the power back on for people. So I would say, I don't know, I'm not speaking for you, but I would say patience is going to be key for a lot of customers this weekend.
Absolutely. I mean, anytime you lose power, it's a stressful situation, especially when the temperatures are going to be as low as they are. So it's understandable to be anxious about that. Certainly make sure that we know about the outage, but I will tell you that we have the very best field staff. These are first responders that are trained to do this kind of dangerous work, even in the best of conditions, and these are the worst of conditions. So depending on how long it can take our trucks to get in there and our personnel to get in there, it may be slightly delayed from our usual response time. Again, let's have some sympathy for the guys and gals that are out there doing this work in these dangerous conditions. They're working as quickly and safely as they can to get power restored. But also, and you made a good point, Brian, one way to help these crews is to stay off the roads. If there are first responders that are responding to traffic accidents, or if something comes if there's a collision with one of our power poles, that creates an outage, that creates just more work, and it takes more time for us to get to the other customers that may be without power as well. So we as a community have a role to play here in the response to this winter storm.
Matt Mitchell, we're lucky to have you on KVUE, and Austin Energy is lucky to have you on their team. We wish you all a very safe and productive weekend if you're needed out there. I'm sure there will be issues, but thanks for your time this morning, Matt.